Hello and welcome everybody to the second episode of Scouted, the Warcraft 3 podcast. In episode 1 we had Deport, and I think according to your reviews and your feedback, it was very well appreciated. More than 2,500 people watched it already. This is a lot more than I expected, to be honest, and I hope the success of this format will continue throughout the next weeks and month. That shows me that format like this is absolutely necessary in the scene to give a little more insight about what is happening behind the scenes. And one of the best persons to interview or to podcast with about what's going on behind the scenes is Ugrilainen. Ugrilainen is living in China, hailing from France, and he's been our partner for a lot of projects in the past, especially the past 15 months, I think, starting with GCS Spring, and then he got even more involved as a very, very experienced organizer for FFA tournaments, caster for FFA tournaments, so he knows what's up. And of course, since he's in China, he's very well connected with the scene over there. So one of the keys to the Warcraft scene success in Europe is Ugrilainen, and I promised him an interview for a very, very long time. I wanted him to be on stream for a very, very long time, and now it's finally happening here at Scouted. This is the second episode, and I hope you enjoy it as much as the first one. Have fun with me and Ugri. Welcome to episode 2 of Scouted. Last week we had Deport, a caster from America. This time it's not a caster and it's not from America, it's Ugrilainen. At the moment, maybe the only Warcraft 3 reporter in the world, and he's living in China, and I hope the connection will be fine. Hey Ugri!
Hey! Thanks for having me.
Pleasure to have you here, man. We wanted to do this for such a long time. I think in the midst of last year, I asked you for an interview and you said yes immediately, and then I was an idiot and forgot about it. So finally, after 12 months, I can make up for it.
Yeah, I didn't know if it would be a podcast or what, but now here we are.
Yeah, I think a podcast is like a format that suits you the best, I guess. I mean, your interviews are great with a Q&A format, but you talk so much that I think a normal discussion or podcast suits you the best.
Yeah, you told me I talk too much so many times, but it was just excitement from my first tournament. I'm not always like that.
I remember, man. It was like 2016, right? Summer edition of GCS?
Oh, yes, it was spring edition, right?
Spring edition.
Spring, I think. Yeah. When I went there, it was... I didn't talk too much at all because I was so stressed. And when you came with Remo, then I was more confident and more excited, and so many players. So yeah, I talked a lot then. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think no problem. It was so great to have an insight about that tournament back then. I think this was really what bonded us together. I think we know each other. We knew each other a bit from W3 Arena, since I was a news writer there, and you wanted to become a community manager, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's my big failure. I tried and it didn't work.
Do you think it's your fault or maybe other people?
Well, I had my ideas and they didn't find them good, so it's nobody's fault. I mean, that's the way it was.
Very, very political answer, of course. Yeah.
But
yeah, go on.
Yeah. No. I mean, it's for me. My journey in Warcraft was it was with a random event that made me do something and not something else. Like when I was doing FFA fixing, when I came back in 2016 earlier, it was to fix the FFA ladder that did not work since I was gone. And after that, I said, okay, I involved into the group of Warcraft Arena, and you were one of them. So I thought like maybe I could be community manager because I saw a lot of fights everywhere on the forums. I'm banned, it's not fair, blah, 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 blah. So I said, oh, maybe I could manage this because I did it before in Play FFA, and I thought it was okay. But we didn't agree on how to do that. So then, we were in this grip software together. So that's when we started to discuss together. And I thought, okay, this I cannot do, but now I feel like I want to do something in Warcraft. So what can I do that is somebody needs? And you were like, I need somebody maybe to go to GCS to see Foggy coming, and I did not even know who was Foggy at that time. I had no idea.
I remember. Of course, you're one of the biggest names in the FFA scene, but you never followed the one-on-one, if I'm not mistaken. But
no, I played.
Yeah.
No, I played solo just until 2005, and then I switched to FFA, and it was for me so much better game that I just stopped and didn't really follow the pro scene. So, as I said in my interview online, I knew Moon and Grubby and Sky by name, but I don't know who in what and whatever, and which race, whatever. I didn't really know. But when I went to GCS, I thought, oh, it's a good story because Foggy, I heard about him just shortly before I go. I started to talk to him, and he was a very nice guy. So I thought maybe it's a good story that maybe I could be there and help him communicate with you and say what's going on, even though I don't know anybody. And I will never forget first moment I entered the room, like when I arrived in Shanghai, and they were all training there. There was Lucifer, Foggy, 120, Fly, I think. They were all there on computers, and I was like, who is who? And I just thought, okay, this one must be Foggy because he looks very Ukrainian. But then the others, I was like, who can it be? Yeah, it was challenging because I was like, okay, I don't know anything about it, but I will still do it anyway, and we will see. And it turned out great, I think.
It turned out really great, and I admired you so much for taking that step because, as I said, you had no idea who the players were, you had no idea about the meta game of one-on-one, whatever. Like, you had no clue, and you just went there because it's not really close to you, but you know, China. And the content you produced was so on point and so helpful for everything. How did you approach it? And like, how did you prepare for it? And what did you learn there, maybe, from the first experience?
Well, when I went there, so I tried to, I asked, we were a small group on Skype, you, me, ISM, and I forgot
Nick,
who
I
was
guess?
there.
Mr. White?
Yeah, maybe Nick, Mr. White.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I will meet this guy. What did he do? And each one of you made me a little report on all players that will be there, what they did before, and it was a few lines. Okay, I was like, okay, this one is this one is that. All right. And when I went there, I remember one night I went to dinner with Yumiko and WFZ because my friend Chatwin was there, and so we went together, and we discussed a little bit about their life, and I learned a lot with Yumiko. WFZ doesn't talk too much; he's like silent Bob in some movies. I never told, but Yumiko talks a lot. And when we went back to the hotel, the cool story is like I told him, oh, maybe we can do an interview sometime, but he wanted to do it live on his stream right away when we arrived. So we had a 10-minute walk to the hotel, and I was on Skype like, give me a question to ask him. I don't know anything about him, and like I'm gonna be live on his stream. And like when he switched on the stream, it was like 5,000 people. Right away, like that.
In the middle of the night, right?
At 1 a.m. Yeah. And I was and all the way to the hotel, I was scratching question on my little paper, and from what you all gave me back. So thank you.
That was a really cool experience because for you it was 1 a.m. For us it was 7 a.m. I guess. It's 6-hour time difference between China. So I woke up, or I was still awake, I don't remember, and Skype was blowing up. I was like, what the hell is going on? Did Ugri get murdered or something? But no, it was just for an interview.
Like, oh my God. And even still now I know very well whatever happens, every detail on every player since 2016. But before that, it's still very blurry. And sometimes I try to check whatever happened in 2014 or something, but it's I'm not very good. So sometimes when I talk about current things, I'm very on point. But then it's, hey, you remember in 2013 when I went to this tournament and the final was against Infi, and I was like,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's so many tournaments going on, especially last year, that people can forget about stuff. But are you still in contact with those guys? I mean, when I go to a tournament, then I'm really good friends with most of the people, and we really get along well. But once I'm back in Germany, the connection is cut. Like, we chat a bit through WeChat, but I don't usually talk to the Warcraft players that much. How is it for you?
I talked to some of them. I mean, for example, for Yumiko, because he's the one I spend a lot of time with, I feel we are some sort of friends. But if I write him something, he's not going to answer very fast, and it's going to take a while. And usually he answers, but not too fast. But when we see, it's very friendly, very bonding. But I mean, it's like many friends. I mean, you don't see them for a while, and then nobody takes news, and then you meet again in a tournament, and it's all good. But he helps me a lot each time I see him. But when he's not in the same place as me, then not much news unless I write stuff to him. But it was funny, like in Wuhan when I did the final. PGL final TH against Moon. So it's my city. So I went to the venue and what? Who is the caster? It's Yumiko, and he didn't even tell me he was coming.
Oh yeah, double-edged sword. So then I think.
Yes, but there are some I talk a lot. They are not so well known, but I'm thinking about Engshi, for example, the Chinese dad, stuff like he's one of the few that will talk to me first and I answer to him and not the other way. But pretty much everybody is quite friendly, and if I ask them a question, they answer me right away or quite fast. Like in Korean, I have good connection. We focus on all I had. Very often it's more about what you use to communicate with them than because when you change, like now I have all the software in the world to communicate. So if you use a good one, then you're gonna get a fast answer.
That's true, most likely. So I'm curious, you're living in China for 3 years now, a little more maybe?
No, 3 years.
3 years. So are the Warcraft players a little different from normal people, or is it the same kind of attitude with the Chinese?
The Warcraft what? Sorry.
The Warcraft people in the Chinese Warcraft people, are they like the same as your colleagues at work?
Yes, I mean for the Chinese ones, well they are very introvert, like but many Chinese are like that. They don't high five much or hug or their relationship are very distant. I think it's not to show too much emotion. Like it's not like in America, like you meet somebody, oh my god, I'm so happy to see you.
Yeah, everybody is your best friend in America, right? Immediately, like you meet them for the first time. Yeah, I see that.
And in China, it's reverse. It's more control and more inside. And sometimes you don't even know you're in a room. You don't really know who is friend with who, and so they are more introvert like that. But I don't see much difference between them and the Chinese people I meet. It's the same, I think. Yeah. Their mentality.
I think not showing too much emotions is a big part of not showing weaknesses or not wanting to make mistakes in the Chinese culture.
Well, in one thing I'm told all the time in China is like you cannot lose face. I mean, so you cannot look if you look upset or if you look distressed, or you lose the self-confidence, you lose your status or something. So sometimes when I do something, hey, don't do that because he's gonna lose face. So okay. So all right.
So I know that we all like to drink and go out, and you're a big fan of partying as well. And I saw you partying, and you are very good at that. So when the Chinese people are drunk with you together at like KTV, which is like a karaoke club, or in a disco or whatever, is it still the same when they're drunk? Because I've never seen the pro players drunk, so I cannot tell.
Most of them don't drink, but I noticed that even in Europe, most of players they are not drinkers at all.
Yeah, that's true.
And for the Chinese, I party with I party mostly with French people, my friends. When I go and have many drinks with Chinese people, it's often for business meeting.
All right.
And yes, they can be very very drunk, and then they start to be very how to say enthusiastic. But it changed them a little bit. But I don't have much Chinese friends because my work is mostly with French people. So if there are some Chinese, then it's Chinese people working with us or partner with us.
All right.
It's not like, since I don't speak Chinese, I cannot go into a Chinese party.
Yeah, man, why didn't you learn it? I mean, you've been there for 3 years. It's time.
I know. So many people told me that, but you don't imagine the time you need to invest into this. And first thing, I'm moving from countries to countries to do my job, and I'm like not willing to learn all languages in the world. And secondly, so much time to be invested in this, to learn how to write and to learn how to speak and to even read is so complicated. And I don't have the motivation simply because I don't have the time. I have family, job, friends, and Warcraft. So if I want to do Chinese, then I need to cut something.
Do you still sleep at all? Because you're busy all the time, I feel. Like, you're at work, but you're still at work thinking about Warcraft and doing stuff, I guess, sometimes when there is time. And when do you find time for your family and for Warcraft in general? It seems very complicated.
For my family, I always find the time on the weekend mostly, because when I come back from work, my wife is there listening. She's like, yeah. All right. Sorry. So
no problem.
The weekend is for my family. So whenever my friends, they're like, oh, Saturday night, yes. Anyway, that's my interview. Well, it's less bad on the weekend than during the week, let's say. But on the weekend, like I usually don't go to parties on weekends. Friday nights and Saturday nights, I stay with home usually, unless we do something with my wife, and I spend time with my two daughters, because I have twins daughters, 6 years old soon, and so I spend time with them then. And the rest of the week, since even when I start to leave early my job and arrive like when they go to bed, so I don't see them much like tonight. So usually when I need to go out, I go out during the week, which is sometimes a trouble next day at work. It can be difficult.
Yeah, you told me last week that it might have been a little bit too much rum. I can relate.
Yeah, it was, but it was fun.
Are you practicing your daughters to become like gaming children, or are they playing video games a lot?
They like video games. I installed some games on the PlayStation 3, but the issue is like learning how to lose. It's like me. They don't like it. So when they play one against the other, sometimes they start to struggle a little bit. So I don't make them play too much without surveillance. But learning how to lose is important for kids, so we try to teach them. But and whenever one is too upset, we say, if you're still upset, then we will play tomorrow, and then they calm down. So it's better. But they like to watch me watch Warcraft, actually, because I only watch this game, and they like the Archmage a lot, like because there's a horse.
There's a horse, of course. Yep.
Yeah. And so whenever the horse is dead, they are very sad. And nowadays, with humans losing all the time, I mean,
it's a hard time.
It's not easy.
Hard time for them. Yeah, I'm asking because in Germany, I think the general reception of video games is still bad, because, Counter-Strike, you kill people, it's so bad, it makes you aggressive and stuff like that. But I think as a very early adopter of video games, it teaches you so much, because I started out with strategy games like Civilization, Settlers, stuff like that. So I learned from Civilization, I learned a lot about history. I learned a lot about like project management or organizing big tasks, for example. Would you use games as an educating thing for children?
100%, yeah. For my youth, which was a long time ago, but my mother, at that time there was no online gaming, but my mother, she was always saying, I'm gonna be mad when I be an adult, because I'm playing too much video games. I don't go outside enough, and I don't know how to make friends. And I feel like it's not really accurate.
That's so funny. It's actually one of a question or a topic that I wanted to go on later, but you're such a connective person, and you don't care about approaching people, because I might have a little anxiety when it comes to talking to new people that I've never met before. But you, when I see you interact with people, it feels like you know them for years. And that's the case with almost everybody I saw you talk with. Is that because of your job, or have you always been like that? It's really impressive.
No, I was not always like that. I was very shy before, but yeah, maybe my job gave me confidence. I don't know, but and my job and my life in Warcraft are quite related because I do management and I do organization and I have to take a lot of decision all the time. So maybe that's it. Maybe because I'm older, but I'm more like now. I'm more like life is short and you need to enjoy it. And actually, at WCA, it's something I think. One of the most important thing I did there was like you would see Imphi, and Imphi will tell you, "Oh, I will play against Longwalk, and I remember him from New York, and we played 10 years ago. It's so great." And then you talk to Longwalk, and then he's like, "Oh wow, we'll play Imphi," and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But then they meet in a corridor, and nobody stops to talk to the other.
Yeah.
And both of them told me about, wow, it's so great. And then they just crossing it was in the stairs, and they don't stop to say hi or anything because they're too shy. So I'm like, I stopped them and said, "Hey guys, it's not work." "Oh yeah, I know." And then they talk, and then we took picture, and they were very happy, and then they told me thank you. And I did the same with what's his name, Foggy with Goliath, and mostly Orc Walker with Lynn. Like there was Orc Walker and Foggy at one seat, and in front of them it was Lynn and Goliath, and they were like, "Oh, you want to take a picture with the best Orc and with the best Night Elf?" And we're like kids, like so happy, and we take some picture, and that's it.
Yeah, it's funny that players like Orc Walker are still a little starstruck, I think. I think he didn't want to talk to him because he's such a star and so big or something. Was it like that? Or was he just shy?
Yeah, I think he was shy. And they were all shy. Like didn't dare to ask. So you remember the last night at the dinner, there were Yumiko, Lolaiet, and Lynn, and we were with Hunter, what's his name, Orc Walker, and Longwalk, and Foggy, and most of them took pictures with them. The Yumiko, Lolaiet, Lynn, plus one of them.
Yeah.
But can you ask them to take a picture? I said, sure, they will take a picture with you, but you ask them yourself, and force them to go talk to them yourself.
like the father you are, man. But I can relate to the players. I mean, the language barrier is pretty hard, especially for the Russians, I guess. I mean, for Germany and France, our English is pretty good, I'd say. But for the Russians, most of the time it's not. But it's just the case in the first place, because once they loosen up a bit, we all speak one language, and that is Warcraft, so we can always communicate with our hands and feet and whatever. Just the first few times that they might be a little shy or not super confident in their English skills.
It's not the language. Like Longwalk, he speaks English quite well.
Yeah, of course.
He couldn't go himself to take the picture.
Yeah.
It's I think it's a Warcraft player are pretty shy people. And that's what I said is somewhere. They're pretty shy. Most of them are, I think, pretty intelligent, but quite shy with how to behave in society. So, like, how to go. I mean, it's a one-time occasion for most of them. Like Hunter, when will he meet with Lynn or Lolaiet ever again? So, it's a good occasion.
Yeah, the crazy story of Hunter last year. What this guy? I mean, you have a pretty good relationship to him now, and it was so cool to see. I mean, everybody knows about the struggle he had to get to WCA, the denied visa at first, and maybe some organization problems on behalf of some companies. But he was there, and he had a fucking long flight, and he wasn't really able to play the tournament. But then he was there, and he was so happy to be there with us. It was really cool.
This is probably one of my best memory of December. Like, it's a story with a Hunter. He started very bad. He doesn't get his visa on time. And actually, what pissed me off in this story is like, I'm a visa officer, so I know about all the procedures. And I told the company he must apply on this visa last day on Monday. And they're like, you're not involved in this. You just come out. And they make him apply on Tuesday, and then it's too late.
Yeah.
And he arrived. He arrived when the tournament first one was nearly over, so he played only one game. And so I was like, this guy took 45 hours to fly or something like this for just playing 2 games.
Yeah.
And so I was upset, but then it turned very great because all players like we talked to him and took picture with him. He played some games with the others, friendly the Tourist Cup.
Yeah, exactly.
And we had this night that of course most of them know that he had some issue to go back to the hotel. But,
yeah, that might be our fault.
I don't think so. Because well, the story is for those who don't know that we went to a party and Hunter and Longwalk, they had a hard time to go back to the hotel because we left before them. So they were like comments everywhere on forums like we abandoned them and we didn't care about them, which is not true. I went to tell them goodbye before leaving, but they were dancing and they pretty much, I don't know, didn't think about they must go home by themselves.
Yeah.
And then we don't really know what happened, but next day you arrived and it was 7 a.m. or something.
Yep, and he was accompanied by police officers. I don't know if we are supposed to talk about it now, since I don't know.
Oh, it's the funny. No, I mean he came back in a taxi. And he lost some money. We don't know about this part exactly what happened. But
exactly.
What we can tell about is, I mean, the conclusion of it, because the manager of WCA, he asked me to come for a meeting to discuss about Hunter's situation and about the fact that he lost some money during the night. And so we talked with the managers and Hunter. And I was like, Hunter, he needs to take his flight back today to Peru. So maybe we don't do anything. I mean, we don't talk to the police. It's just $100 or something we can give him, and no problem. And we don't make a fuss about it. And they said, yeah, Ugri, you're right. We're gonna do that. I said, okay. I go to take my stuff in my room, and I come back down with you. And I go to my bedroom. I go back, and they are not in the hall anymore, and they are in front of the hotel with a big police truck, 6 policemen with rifle and shotguns, and Hunter with interview with one policeman with a camera that is filming Hunter asking, and he's being asked questions about his night, and I'm like, oh my god,
can of worms.
Yeah, and then I was like, it's not supposed to happen. And I walked next to the manager and I said, we said we don't make a big deal about it, and we be discreet. He said, yeah, I know, but it's too late. They came and like it was so funny. It's so funny because Hunter, he didn't know what happened, so they're like asking, what time did you come back to the hotel? And Hunter looks at me, what time did I come back to the hotel? I fucking don't know.
I was sleeping. Yeah, you just did the best. Sleeping. You just did the best Frank impression I've ever heard in my life. That was just spot on, Frank.
Yeah.
Frank is the manager for WCA, by the way, for people who don't know, but that was absolutely perfect. I'm really happy for myself about that night because I got shit-faced. I don't remember anything from that club at all. I just remember that I said goodnight because I was too drunk, and I left pretty early compared to you, and my mind told me, oh, you've been in Yinchuan like 3 times now. You will find your way back from the club to the hotel. Stupid drunk Neo. And I was walking across the street. My the card for my bank didn't work at all. I had no money anymore because we paid some drinks, I guess. So I couldn't get a taxi. And I have no idea what happened then, but I woke up in my room. My liver is still here. Everything is good. But that could have been me. And I woke up super hungover. I think Remo had to knock on my door to get me ready to the flight. And then I heard the story unfold of Hunter, and I was like, oh shit, that could have happened to me. So yeah, don't go out alone in China.
There is a story also about Long Walk, but I don't know if we can talk about it.
I think we can. Like, Long Walk overslept a bit.
Yeah, but it was also so funny because when we talk about Hunter with the manager, and he's like, and I was like, he talks to me about Hunter, but I thought Hunter was not alone. I said he was with Long Walk, and I was like, where's
Long Walk?
And they tell me, we don't know. He didn't take his flight this morning. What? He didn't take his. Where is he? We don't know. And I was like, oh my god, where is Okay. And I said, what is room number? What is it? And they gave me the room number. I started to bang on the door. Are you there? Are you there? And I heard, yes, sleeping now. Thank you. We'll play tomorrow. And I never saw him again. I just talked to the door. I said, okay, take care.
This is such a cool story, because usually when we were with Foggy or the other guys, they are not party people. But this one time, we go out with WCA people and you and Remo, and so much stuff happened in just one night. I can't imagine how it was back in the day when like everybody was partying from the pro players.
Yeah, it was a good night.
Yeah. Oh boy. We talked a bit about WCA America. That was one task that was maybe my hardest task so far.
Yeah.
We were approached by a company back in maybe July or something, August, to organize that tournament. Or, well, originally I just approached them because I wanted to cast, and I didn't know what would I get into. They had no idea about anything, and so I said, okay, don't let them organize anything. We will just do it all by ourselves. So we built a little task force with you, me, and who else was there? Over at Meyer, I guess. At the end, it might have been over at Meyer as well, but basically just the two of us. And we had to come up with so much stuff in such a short time. That was really, really an interesting journey, this WCA America.
Yeah, but for this, I let it go after a while because I was not very confident in their honesty, and I think I was right when I saw what happened after.
Yep.
Basically, you did all the work by yourself, and they got paid.
Yeah, just figuring out, did I get paid? I'm not so sure. I saw.
No, I think you for casting you have been. You told me partially at least.
Yeah, I told you that I saw the transfer from their side, but did it arrive on my bank account is the question. I don't think so. I gotta look that up, but they had the intention to pay, and yeah, so far we'll see about that. But in the end, it was so cool because we had so much struggle, and I remember me sitting on my couch. It was nerve-wracking. I was tilting every single day because they came up with new shit that we had to deal with, and you were the only guy who could calm me down in that particular moment. Like, okay, Ugri, I have a mental breakdown. Please be the father figure that you are and help me to cool down.
Yeah, you're my little kid.
Yeah, sometimes I really need that.
As I told you, there's always ups and downs, and in the end, it works fine. Yeah.
How can you keep your calm all the time in stressful situations like that?
Oh, I don't. But you know, at my job, it's so much pressure sometimes, and sometimes I lash out a little bit, but in the air, like not. I never lash out on my colleagues or nothing, but like when I read some complaint or something like that, I can lash out, but just to blow steam, but never against anybody. But I think managing Warcraft, it's less stressful than managing my job. So it's when I compare, it's okay.
All right.
It's okay, yeah.
I don't want to be in your shoes then at work, because sometimes I feel like this organizing Warcraft stuff, I mean, casting can be pretty stressful if you're alone, or like if some stuff comes up that is just stressful. Sometimes it's annoying, but you organize so much, or you did organize so much. Is it still fun for you, or does it feel like work sometimes?
It depends what I organize, but when it starts to feel like work, I usually stop doing it. Okay. And then I can come back if some new project is good for me. I don't know. Organizing is not my favorite stuff to do. But when nobody maybe organize something I wish would happen, then I can do it. If I do it with several people, and then there's some teamwork, I like it. When the fact that you can work with somebody, like sometimes I work with somebody from Peru, Andres, on something with America. So this is exciting to discuss project together. When we do it with Ivan in Russia, it's the same. But if it's only me, sometimes I do some stuff alone. But if it's only me, it's less motivating.
Yeah, I can relate. It's a basically the same that happened to Back to Warcraft. I founded this channel in 2012 already with 2 other casters, Yupa and Fishy. But then there was some stuff going on in our all lives, and we couldn't like get a schedule, or we said, okay, maybe we do this, maybe we do that, but it didn't really click. And now I have Remo by my side, or like most of the time he's there, and it's so
when he's not in jail.
When he's not in jail, exactly. So this is so motivating to have at least one guy by your side to keep pushing you, and I really need that as well, because I don't know if it's immaturity, but I can't do this all by myself. It's just too much, I feel.
Yeah, it's if you feel like but in your situation, it's quite true. If you stop doing Warcraft work, then I think this will be too big for the scene. So you don't have the choice than to continue. For guys like me or Remo, it's less painful for the scene if we stop sometime. We can come back and the scene is still there. But in your case, you're too involved in too many important stuff. Sorry to tell you that.
I did miss you so much when you stopped. And I missed the tweets, I missed the articles, and I was so happy that you came back. What led to that decision? Is it already like a kind of an addiction to help the scene? Because I definitely feel that way for me.
Yeah, I have this will to help the scene. It's like that's why I moved to so many different fields, either organizing or even casting sometime before, or writing or going to events, and it's whatever is needed that I like to do. But when I stopped, I didn't. When I stopped something like I cut, I mean, I didn't really feel the need after a few days to watch anything, and I didn't really want to come back. But as I said, it's a GCS organization of giving us four slots out of 16, which is crazy when you think about it.
Yeah.
Because Europe is not 1/4 of the strengths in the world of Warcraft.
That's true.
And they asked me, can you make interviews of the winners in Europe? So I was like, come on, I'm not going to say, no, fuck you, I'm not going to. So then I said, okay, and then they put me with you in the group of organizers. So I never really knew if they did that because they wanted me to organize or if they did that. So come on, you come back and do stuff. But that was nice. In any case, it was nice because it's the Chinese that gave me so much trust. It was nice. So then, little by little, when the time of GCS Europe approached, I came back for little organization and I did the interviews. And after the interviews, I was like, and then, as I said, on my written interview, David from Warcraft3.info did this great website, and he told me like, maybe you could write on my site and I could do this for you. And so it was not me alone, because when I wrote before, one thing that made me stop is what I was totally alone. I had no interaction whatsoever with Warfare Arena website owners or something. I wanted to write, I just wrote, but there's nothing much about coordination or not. I mean, I don't know what to explain. It's not like they would do like what David does now. It's David gave me some graphics when I need to make my article look better. He gave me one day my tweets are in front page of his webpage, so it get me more better audience. So when you write something, you want people to read. I mean, so it touched me a lot. Yes, and one day with Remo, like he was casting alone some qualifier round of 64 of GCS, I think, and he was like completely lost. He was, what's going on? Who was one? It's very hard. These events, there's no track of the result online. Yeah. Nothing is posted. So organizers, they know, players, they know, but nobody knows.
That's one of the weakest things in the Chinese scene, I guess. They don't have something like Liquipedia. They don't put out live scores at replays.net or anything. Yeah. That's really bad.
I mean, in a term it's bad, but in another term, I mean, it's like amateur a little bit. It's more family style. It's less pro like StarCraft 2, like when I see everything is so neat, so clean, so organized, so professional, but maybe a little cold. Like for Warcraft, you need to, hey, guy, do you know the result of this game?
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah.
I mean, it's more.
I see it from TED. He just puts on a notepad and writes the results there. This is as old school as it gets.
This guy is so awesome in all level, like skills, funny. I mean, I don't understand what he says, but he is because I have to say sometimes I need to listen to the Chinese caster more than you because connection is too bad. I have
of course
160p quality and I see big pixel. I cannot even read the names of the players and certainly not see whatever details they want to show. But of course, on Chinese stream, it's perfectly okay. So I don't understand what they say, but still I understand. He's laughing all the time.
Exactly.
He's still excited, but he doesn't play it. It's real, and it's rare for a Chinese guy to be so fun.
That's
not
true.
Fun, but enthusiastic in public like that.
I spent so much time back then when in like 2007 or so, there was no Twitch, there was no YouTube, whatever. We had a PP Live. I don't know if that's still a thing in China, but it was basically a peer-to-peer video stream program. So all we got was this tiny little screen where you can see the game on with, of course, Chinese commentary back then. And you don't have to understand them to relate.
No.
And this is even more for the Korean scene, because the Korean casters are so crazy. I mean, we shout a lot if exciting stuff comes up, but we have our calm moments as well. The Korean guys, they are completely on, I don't know, coke or whatever, but they're screaming all the time. It's so fun. It's so good. Like, we all know this Japa scene from like 1 year ago or so, and they're like that all the time, and I love it. It's so cool.
Recently, I took interest in watching Lowlight after I did the article about them.
This boy,
because he's a noob, you know, and so I started to go on his channel, and I feel he's very good at casting his game because he's talking about what he's doing, but in a very casual way, and he can laugh at his own mistakes very frankly. So I think it's a little like what Grubby does, more relaxed and just interacts a lot with the viewers. And I think all casters should follow this example.
I agree. I would love to understand him, of course, but I mean, the Russian casters are not that entertaining, I guess. I mean, I can't understand them at all, but if I watch Foggy or Happy, I don't get the same vibe that I get from the Asian streams. I don't know. There's not too much entertainment potential for many of the players, I guess.
Yeah, I don't watch them a lot, to be honest. Happy, I watched yesterday for the first time, and because I wanted to see his game. I don't know if there is many interaction with the fan, but I hear a lot of stories about struggles between the caster and the fan. So I don't think it's maybe not too good. And Foggy, I don't watch his stream too much neither, just because. Frankly, I don't like Night Elf.
Okay. Yeah, I think Foggy is a bit of an example, because one day he is dressed as a pirate because he steals the stream from somebody else. So there's always some cool entertainment moments for Foggy. Also his boxer dance that made him famous in China.
Yeah, this is... There is a difference between him and the others in the Russian casting. He is doing efforts to make it entertaining, and he relates a lot to his audience. Like Ivan, he says how fond he is of Foggy's stream because all of this, and there is always the boxing dance, and Foggy is really loved in China as well. Like when he won against TH, and he was like that in the booth, and they really love it, and they did a lot of gif about him. Also, when he won against Lin, he did the same. Yeah. And they love that. Nobody does this in China.
Yeah, that's also something that's a little sad, because when Infi won GCS, he just took the trophy and went off. Same for 120, who finally got his big title, and he just accepted the trophy and just okay. And I remember Grubby winning WCG back then, and I don't want to say it's the same, because WCG was the biggest thing, but he was there on stage waving the Dutch flag and stuff like that. We don't see this nowadays. Maybe it's because the stage is a lot smaller. Maybe it's because many players won so many trophies already. But yeah, that's definitely something I feel is missing. And that's why it's so cool to see a Foggy or back then a Yaws.
Yeah, for GCS, the stage, as you remember, maybe you don't really want to raise your flag because of dust, like you're gonna be.
That's right. Yeah, true that.
It was a construction site. Yeah, maybe it's not, and there's no audience, so maybe for 1-0 he has an excuse. For Infi, I don't really know because it's before I started. But I know he won in 2014 or something.
Yeah.
Infi is very introvert, but. You call him the Iceman, so I don't know if it's you or if it's everybody. But when I met him, like I was expecting somebody very cold but he was one of the most friendly guys at the dinner we had with them.
Yeah.
First, he invited us to dinner. It's pretty nice, and he talked a lot in the car, and so it was not cold at all.
That's something I wanted to touch as well. We heard so many reports even before you started to cover the scene that of course there's beef between Yumiko, TH and Infi, and Yumiko is usually the fan favorite and nobody really likes Infi and TH and they are not good people.
You mean in Europe?
Yeah, in Europe we heard that from Chinese scenes, I think.
Oh.
And then you got a little closer with Yumiko, and of course we met him in 2014, so he was a great guy. And I think there's a misperception on this, because of course Yumiko is a great guy, I will never deny that, but thinking of Infi as a bad person or something is absolutely not true. He's so kind and so funny.
And even TH, I mean, I know we hate each other, and there are so many stories. For me, it's sometimes little kindergarten stories, but maybe I'm too old for this shit.
No, it's definitely kindergarten.
And WFZ 1-2-0 is also the same. You don't understand why they have so much issues, but I feel like when I talk with you, it's gonna be easy. I mean, just let it go.
Yeah.
And no way to let it go. And on both sides, like when I did a FFA, free humans against free undead against free night elf and free orcs, and for the human teams there were Infi and TH, and so I said, TH, your team captain, who do you take for the human team? And he's like, I don't want to bother with that, so you choose. I said, okay, so Infi, and I said, and Yumiko.
Well,
and then he said, no way. So I was like, okay, so it's not like I won, because if he would say so, I was like, okay, Yumiko, and it was like, what? When I talk about it with Shaggy, he said, you really asking Yumiko? I said, yes, why not? So we took romantic.
Yeah, it's about. I mean, a lot of stuff that you do is about building bridges, not only between players. I think you didn't succeed with Yumiko and Infi so far, but maybe in the future when they realize that it's just kindergarten so long ago. But one of your, maybe one of your biggest projects is to connect the Americas with the rest of the scene.
It's one of my current projects, yeah. Well, because I felt like no WCA this year, so we don't have a big tournament for them.
Yeah.
And they cannot really involve into the Europeans one, Jera Cups. I mean, it's not convenient for Peruvian people to go on a Russian site to play on with all Russian-based administration mostly. And it was the same for GCS. Like some said, well, we could have played into the GCS qualifier because it's for America too, but it's not very convenient. So to try to organize a tournament for themselves, only for Americans, and we thought about Australians as well, since they are also lost on their island, continent island. So we want to do a GCS style 16-player tournament with 4 groups for America and Australia. So we work on this for a few weeks with Andres from Peru, Overmeyer from Canada, and Deport. of course, Deport Gaming, episode 1 of Scarlet. So we work on this together, and we came up with a logo, with an organization, with a project to crowdfund it. So we will give half of the price, and we hope to get twice more from donation. The only reason that what's dealing us a little bit now, it's we don't know when it's going to be GCS. Yeah. So we don't know when, because we don't want to put it at the same time. And actually, my hope is like you can cast it during your 24 hours cast. Like, we should see soon, right?
That is definitely one of the most ambitious projects for America. Like right after WCA America, I guess this will be the biggest thing. And what I saw so far is really, really promising. Who came up with that logo?
Well, the logo, it's a Chinese friend that did it, because now I know people in many, many places with many talents, and he did our logo because we have a microblogging, like they say, channel for all my articles in Chinese. They are translated in Chinese and posted on WeChat on I don't know if you're part of this. Do you subscribe? I'm not sure.
I'm not too sure either, but I see your stuff on Twitter, so I'm covered.
All right, so all my articles are actually recorded on this, and he did a very nice logo for I Love Warcraft group, and so I asked him, can you do something for me for America, and he did it like this week, yeah. So pretty nice looking. So I think we're gonna keep it.
Can I show it on stream?
Sure.
Okay, here we go. There
I don't see what you show. I want to say the audience.
There it is. It's such a beautiful logo. I mean, I think it's the best logo that a league had in recent years. So
really, he's gonna be happy to. I will tell him.
I'm really happy about that. And I mean, this is just a small thing like a logo, but it can change so much about the perception of a league. If you come up with something that is done in, I don't know, paint or whatever, it looks already cheap. And if viewers see this, like, okay, it's just another league, you know, but with a professional attempt like this, and such a big project, I hope this will get a lot of attention if it gets, I think it's a cool format as well. And this is one of the most promising things for the Americas, and I really hope they take this chance, the scene back then, but because there's so much interest in the scene. I see it on my YouTube analytics and the Twitch analytics and stuff. Many viewers from America, and the interest from the South American community is also, there's so much, and they're so passionate about it. I see that on my Facebook a lot. So there is interest for the game, but we never see them rise, or we never see like a weekly cup for them, and that is really what helped Europe. I mean, we were so lucky to have WCA funding Europe, and then of course Jera coming up, so it was a great environment for Europe, but we took that chance, and now we have 114 weeks of Jera Cup, and I think the scene needs to, like, what's it called, like a little help from outside, and then it has to stand on its own feet, and I hope ACS can accomplish that.
Yeah, I hope so too, but we need to realize that in Europe, if Jera was not there and gave so much money every week for Jera Cup to run on, then Europe will be pretty much the same as America. I think it will be no weekly cup, just a few events, and a struggle to have places to shine. So the fact that they don't have how to say, I don't want to say a rich guy, but generous, sponsor, wealthy man that is by passion, because I never talked to Jera, but we have to give him credit for being so generous and supports us in so much. But in a way, I didn't like what he did. Like, if you don't give that much, I will stop. But in another way, it's something like, I can appreciate also, like he says, okay, I'm supporting the scene, but I'm not alone. You have to do it with me. If you don't do it with me, it's mixed feeling, but it's something like I understand, and that's pretty much what I want to do with ACS. We give half of it, but guys, please give the other half, so we can have something together. It's not like me and my friends holding everything. So I understand why he did that, but in South America, there is not such a Jera guy, and like I saw when we started to do some little cups, weekly cups, we tried to do it, and then over and Mario tried as well. But it's such a mess to just send $20 to somebody in South America they have to go to the bank, and it's so much. They have to physically go to the bank to send money on a PayPal account, apparently, or it's in the cost of living. I mean, in Bolivia and he's from Bolivia or interest, not he's Bolivian. He's not Peruvian. Sorry, sorry. And in Peru, it's not $20 there. It's not the same as $20 in Russia or in Europe. So we have to take this into account.
Yeah.
But they still try to organize themselves. We have a good Facebook group with Walter, who is actually also a very good player, and they try to organize stuff together. And they got some help. Like sometimes just connecting two people, they wanted to organize games for themselves and competition, clan wars and stuff, but they didn't have good access to the bots. So I put them into contact, so now they can play a lot of competition. They had a clan war recently, so they are trying to do a lot of things. So I hope with this it can help more. What I want to avoid is forfeits. All right, guys, if you play this, you know that if you qualify, you will play the next week, and you know that you cannot plan any sightseeing with your mother or anything. No, because you register for this event, so you're gonna play maybe 2 weeks. All right.
I hope they realize it, that it's such a big chance. And I mean, in Europe, we had the same. We had so many forfeits in WCA and also in GCS sometimes. And I think sometimes the players don't realize how they are part of this entire scene and what an image it gives to the scene if players just forfeit one of the biggest tournaments. And I think a lot of players just take stuff for granted and don't think about it too much.
I think the problem is, my opinion, is with the qualifier session. Like there is a big qualifier because we want to say, we are not biased, we don't choose players. We're going to make a big qualifier, and the best are going to compete with the one we chose. Mm-hmm. So it sounds good on paper, but most of those guys, sometimes they feel, I will play it anyway, I have no chance.
Yeah.
And then they have a chance, and then they have a good grid, and they play well, and they qualify. But the next week, they have a plan, and so they cannot play. And so for ACS, we are still discussing. I think I would like to make it invitational with people that are totally free on the days we organize the event. And so we have actually a complete grid. But of course, we would like to have the best of them. Yeah. And so the dates are going to be very important to choose.
What do you aim for? Like August, September? What's in your head as a date?
I wanted to do it late August because early August there was GCS, but now GCS is going to be late August maybe. So I'm thinking September. But I know they are going to have more GCS competition afterwards. But I feel like we need to wait for this one to be done because there are 4 European players. Yeah. Everybody will be busy with that. But then, even if there is a big competition in Asia, it doesn't really matter because it's America. It's not the same time, and you have to do your 24 hours casting. So
exactly.
It's very good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and we are talking for almost an hour now. I knew this would gonna be only the first part. I think we have to talk again after I got some other guests here.
Yeah, maybe episode 25 or something like that.
Okay, we make it fixed. You're the guest on episode 25. But before I leave you to spend some time with your wife, I need to ask some stuff that I asked Deport here as well. What are the series that you're watching at the moment, or any movies that you really liked recently, if you had the time to watch some?
Don't have much time, but with my wife we save some time, but we stick together to watch some TV shows. So it's mostly the Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead, and I guess if there will be like 5 Walking Deads, we will watch all of them.
Okay.
So we watch this together. In Game of Thrones, we watch it together. It's gonna come back soon.
10 days, right? Or 7 days?
I think so.
I don't know. Something like that. Gotta be good.
And Gotham, we watch together. For the movies, I'm a big Aliens fan, like Aliens and Sigourney Weaver and whatever. So I was very excited about Alien Covenant when it came out, but I went to see it at the Chinese cinema, and it's terrible because in China there's a big censorship on sex scenes. So there's no sex in Alien Covenant, but they also do some censorship on gore scenes. And so when you watch an Alien movies with no death scenes, it's very weird. We don't see anybody die.
That's so stupid.
So I was like, oh my God. Yeah, they did that. They just cut. So then I went to see some streaming of a screener online and say, oh, so what did happen there?
Was it in English at least?
Yeah, in English, subtitle in Chinese.
All right.
Yeah, at least, yeah. Oh, come on.
That would be crazy, but you never know in China. You oftentimes say that you listen to a lot of music that I listen to as well. So, what's your current song of the week, or any special song that you want to, any song that you want the audience to listen to?
I don't know, like. At the moment, I'm big on Imagine Dragons, so it's not the music you listen to, but
I saw them last week. Actually, they were really good live.
All right,
they were at the Hurricane Festival that I visited.
You see everybody there. Like each time I talk about somebody, you saw them in concert. Okay, I really like them because I'm a big Spotify man, so I just put the music and then random stuff related to it comes up, and so I discover new stuff. So now I came back into Imagine Dragons. I thought like I just know one song of them, Radioactive, and in fact they did a lot of stuff very good. So now I'm just turning their albums.
Did you know that they wrote the official anthem for League of Legends World Championships?
I don't follow League of Legends.
That was like 2 years ago, and I think the song was Warrior or Demon. I'm not so sure, but that was the official League of Legends song.
I like Warriors. Yeah, it's very good song.
might be Warriors. Yeah, exactly. And they played on stage in the big stadium in Korea when the World Championship opened. It's a really cool video. I will put it in the description here.
I had no idea.
So I didn't think about a song, but one of the most memorable performances at Hurricane Festival was Frank Turner, who is like a singer-songwriter guy from England, and he's such a positive attitude about his career and his music. Like when I see him on stage, it's like this guy is enjoying this moment so much, and I know he had some personal struggles in his life with, I think he was struggling with depression and maybe a little drug addiction, as many artists, but if he's on stage, he's so happy, and I can relate to a degree. I mean, I'm not depressive or not an alcoholic, but if I cast, the world is all right for me in those 6 hours, 7 hours, whatever. So my song of the week is Frank Turner, Recovery. Really good song to listen to. And yeah, that's it, man. Scouted episode 2 is over 1 hour, 1 minute. We're perfectly on time.
I will just say one word.
I was just about to say the last words belong to you, and you can of course plug all your important stuff.
Sorry, but I was like, what can I say for the last word? I want to talk to George. George, that's Saris? George? You know the one that commented the video of Deepwater and saying it's bullshit. Yeah, so George, I'm very sorry about this video. And I hope you like that I didn't like Justin Bieber at all. I really don't like him. I'm like you, all right? And maybe, there's going to be some casting very good very soon. Hold on.
All right, this episode was very Warcraft themed, so I hope you like it as well. Please give us some feedback if you want more personal information, if you want more Warcraft talks, whatever you feel like, feedback in the comments. Ugri, thank you so much for your time. I know your time is rare and your wife is waiting, so greetings to her. She must be she must be one of a kind that she holds on to you for such a long time already.
Best wife, best kids. Yeah, no problem.
That's the perfect way to end this, man. Thank you very much, and stay tuned for next week's episode of Scouted. I don't know the guest yet, but I will keep you up to date on Twitter, so bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So, that's it. Episode 2 is done. I think we had more than 1 hour of interesting topics, going from WCA over to GCS, party stuff that happened in Yinchuan. So I think we had content for basically everyone. Not too much personal stuff here today, but maybe we have that with the next episode again, or in the second part. of the Ugri interview that will be coming later this year, or maybe at the beginning of next year. So thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it as much as episode 1. Please, once again, this is a very new format and this is the first time I'm doing something like this. So please leave us feedback on YouTube, SoundCloud, on Facebook, on Twitter. You can find us at facebook.com/backtowwarcraft. You can find us on Twitter. It's at backtowwarcraft. Of course, you can contact us via mail. It's neo@backtowwarcraft.com. And if you really, really like it, you can support us. You can do that via Twitch subscription. Just go to twitch.tv/backtowwarcraft. You can use PayPal. That is backtowwarcraft@gmail.com. If you want to give us some money that you have left on the corner, it's always very much appreciated. We have an Amazon referral link, which you can find via amazon.backtowwarcraft.com. And obviously, we have our merchandise at b2wshop.de for Germany and Central Europe, and b2wshop.com for the rest of the world. Yeah, that's about it. I don't have a guest for the 3rd episode yet, but I think it's going to be someone from Hive Workshop, which will be an entire different field that we will cover. So next Thursday, episode 3 of Scouted. Stay tuned and subscribe. Bye-bye.